watch nerds. Now at $650, the Fortitude's quite expensive for a sports watch with a myota movement inside. However, Astor are a Chicago-based company, and the watches are built and regulated in-house, so it goes without saying, you will always pay a premium for a watch that's put together outside Asia. That said, on release they're a more reasonable $525. Now for some time I've been trying to get my hands on one of these, and a few months ago I just missed out on one. In actual fact, this good used one cost me a tad more than I really wanted to pay. But as used ones come up so rarely in the UK, especially in this colour, I gave myself a slap round the face and I pressed the button. And welcome to my unpaid and unsponsored review of the Astor Fortitude. Now it's worth noting there's a light version of this watch which doesn't have a date, is slightly slimmer, and the anti-magnetism is less. The first thing that hits you is a rather nice packaging. It's a nice leather pouch with a cleaning cloth built in, a suede strap, and no less than a 5-year limited warranty. Now I realise you don't actually wear the packaging, but being quite a shallow person, I can't help but be impressed. And this is my watch of the day. It's the Christopher Ward 12. As usual then, I'll start off with the dimensions, which in my opinion are pretty perfect for a sports stroke Garter watch. The case is 38.5mm, the lug width is 20mm, the lug to lug is 46mm, and the depth is 11.9mm, which includes a flat sapphire crystal with AR coating. Now once adjusted to fit my 17cm wrist, on this bracelet it weighs about 130 grams. Inside is the myota 9015 high beat automatic movement. I've lost count of how many watches I've owned and do own with this movement inside. Now it ticks away at 28,800 beats per hour, it hacks and it hand winds, and it's got a 42-hour power reserve. And if regulated correctly, these can be very accurate. These are very reliable, but some people do moan about a noisy unidirectional rotor. Now personally, I never hear it when it's on the wrist. Now Astor have also included additional anti-magnetism for the movement, and that's done using iron plates. I can tell you that in real life this is running accurately and within a few seconds a day, but let's see what the Timegrapher thinks of it. Now these are meant to be regulated to +10 -10 seconds a day, which indeed it is. It's got a good beat error, a good amplitude although not fully round, and the rate of +9 seconds a day. The side and domed 6mm crown is nicely knurled, screwed down to aid its 200 metres of water resistance, and what's really nice is the engagement when screwing down is buttery smooth. That's always a sign of quality. Moving on to the case. The top of the fixed bezel is finely brushed, then leads down to a domed polished side. The top of the lugs are vertically brushed, then we've got a well executed polished transition, then the sides are once again brushed. Now this is all done very well, but as this isn't a particularly cheap watch, I suppose you'd expect that. We've also got the added bonus of drilled lugs. It's nicely shaped, and I believe it fits really well on the back of my wrist. The case back is simple. It screws down, it's brushed, and it simply has Fortitude engraved on it with some basic information around the sides. I believe this originally came in about 7 colours, but I'm not quite sure where they are in their production at the moment. I think this mint and green colour was the pick of the bunch, and I believe it may have been the first to sell out. Now the layout is similar to my Rolex OP. Whilst there are 2 levels, the colour and the matte texture is the same. Perhaps this is something they could have done differently, just to make it a little bit more interesting. Under the 12 o'clock it reads Astor, then above the colour match date window at the 6 o'clock it reads Fortitude with the depth rating and automatic. The indices in the gunmetal grey hands are filled with a generous application of C3X1 Lume, which is bright and lasts throughout the night. Now this is one of the best looms I've ever seen on a sports watch, and it will put most divers to shame. Now let's have a look at that loom. Now the watch arrived with this really nice dark green suede strap, which I presume was with it when it was new. It's very soft, it suits the watch perfectly, and it's got quick release spring bars, which is a surprise because the bracelet doesn't. The bracelet is excellent, but I can't find a name to describe the style. If you know it, leave it in the comments column below. Now it's fully brushed, it tapers down from 20mm to 16mm, then back up to 17mm for the clasp. It's got solid female end links, which fit the case perfectly. It's got no sharp edges, and well engineered screw pins for easy adjustment. The sign clasp is adequate, and similar to the one you'd find on a Yema or a Steinhardt. It's half milled, it's got 4 micro adjustments, a flip lock, and it's a friction type rather than pushers. It's okay, but it certainly isn't the highlight of the watch. All said and done though, the combination of the bracelet and the clasp is very good, and what's more, it's extremely comfortable. So what do I think of the Astor Fortitude? Well, I really like it. It's a very well put together watch that feels quality. But it doesn't really excite me. To be honest though, I knew that when I ordered it. I wanted a watch with this colour dial, and it ticked most of the boxes. Would I recommend it though? Yes, I probably would, but being the tight sod I am, I suggest you try and find one on the used market. So that brings me to the end of this review. If you've enjoyed it, click on the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave your comments below and enjoy the rest of your day.